Hi, today we're going to discuss about VLAN, inter-VLAN routing, and our main topic is going to be setting up DHCP on a router. Let's go. As you can see here, we have three different VLANs. VLAN for the admin department, VLAN for the sales department, and for the HR department. And what we're going to need is we're going to need for them to communicate between them. So let's go and set up computers for them. We're going to set up our end devices as usual. That'll be your computers here. Okay. And we're not going to assign them any IP address because we're going to want our DHCP to assign them IP address. So let's connect the router with the switch and everything. This will be connected to 00. Like PC0 to, okay, I'm gonna set up from fast Ethernet 0/1 up until to 10 is gonna be VLAN 20, and so we can put it on here. And VLAN 20 is gonna be any port after fast Ethernet 0/10, so I'm gonna put 11 here. And VLAN 30 is going to be any port after, let's make it after 17, so I'm going to make it 18. And let's configure the same thing here. We're going to put 0/1. And we're going to put 0/11. And we're going to put 0/18. Yep. Okay, let's connect the two switches. We're going to use a crossover cable, and we're going to use gigabit interface 0/2, 0/2 here too. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this connections here. The connections between the two switches is going to be a trunking port. Trunking port, or for any other, Cisco calls it trunking, but any other vendor is going to call it tagging. What we're going to do is whenever the switch sends a frame, it's going to tag along the VLAN ID in the frame, so it can communicate with other VLANs. Okay, let's go ahead and start with configuring the switch first. Enable configure terminal, and let's create out VLAN 10, and we're gonna name it admin. Exit, we're gonna create VLAN 20, and we're gonna name it sales. Exit, create VLAN 30, and we're gonna name it HR. Okay, do show VLAN. Here the three VLANs have been created, and we're gonna assign specific ports for them. And we're gonna do is interface range of fast Ethernet 0/1 up to 9. Yeah, switch port access VLAN 10. Okay. Interface fast Ethernet. No, interface range fast Ethernet 0/10 up until 16. It's gonna be switch port access VLAN 20. Okay, interface range, we're gonna use fast Ethernet 0/17 up until to 24. Switch port access VLAN 30. Now let's go check to show VLAN. Okay, it's how we want it. Okay, let's see what ports are connected. To show IP interface brief. As you can see, port 18 is up. That's up in VLAN. port 18 is in VLAN 30, so okay. And to save you some time, okay, we're gonna go configure the same thing on the other switch as well. So enable configure terminal to get to global config mode, and we're gonna type VLAN 10, and we're gonna name it admin. Exit. We're gonna create exit. Okay, we're gonna create VLAN 20, and we're gonna name it sales. Exit. And we're gonna create VLAN 30, and we're gonna name it HR. Okay, we're gonna assign interfaces to it. So interface range fast Ethernet 0/1 up until port 9, switchboard access VLAN 10. Exit. Interface range fast Ethernet 0/10 up until 216, switchboard access VLAN 20. Interface range fast Ethernet 0/17 up to 24, switchboard access VLAN 30. Let's get access to HR department. So exit to show VLAN. Let's verify our settings. There you go. Okay, and let's see what ports are connected. To show IP interface brief. Set VR. Okay, brief. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're gonna configure the 2 gigabit 0/2 interfaces for trunking. So okay, let's get to them. In fact, on switch 1, we're going to configure 0 interface /1 and /2 for trunking. So let's go ahead and type interface range gigabit 0/1 up to 2, switchboard mode access, not access trunking ports. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and configure on switch 2. On switch 2, we're gonna configure the gigabit 0/2 switchboard mode trunk. Okay, let's configure the DHCP router now. But before we do that, we're going to need to set up a default gateway for the computers. So let's go ahead and enable configure terminal. I guess you remember by now how to configure router on a stick. So let's go ahead and create a sub interface under the interface 0/0. So interface gigabit 0/0.10, that's for VLAN. Okay, we're gonna do encapsulation .1q, and we're gonna type the VLAN ID, that's gonna be 10, and we're gonna set up the IP address. That's gonna be the default gateway for all the networks under the VLAN 10. That means 192.168.10.1, and we're gonna create the subnet mask of 255.255.0. That's gonna be /24 prefix. Let's go ahead and configure another sub interface. That'll be gigabit interface 0/2.20. That's going to be for VLAN, or for the VLAN 20, or for the sales department VLAN. And let's encapsulate it with the VLAN ID 20. And let's set up the IP address 192.168.20.1 with the subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. That's going to be /24 prefix as well. Let's go ahead and configure another sub interface. That's going to be, you guessed it right, for Vlan 30. And let's encapsulate it with the Vlan ID of 30. That's going to be for the HR department. Let's set up the IP address or the default gateway. 192.168.30.1 with the subnet, oh, 20, sorry, 30.1. Yeah, let's go ahead and enable the whole interface by typing interface gigabit 0/0, and we're going to type no shutdown. Wow, we waked up 4 interfaces for 0/0 here. Look at this. 0/0 is here, 0/0.10 is here, .20 is here, change state to up, .30 is here. Now that we set up the rudder on a stick, all our computers does not have any IP address for now. Look at this. See, if we ask for DHCP, requesting IP address, and no server is offering them any DHCP, any IP address. This is the APIPA, that's the 169 IP address. Okay, let's make it static. Okay, now let's set up the DHCP server. To do this, we're going to go to IP DHCP. Then you see this, the excluded addresses. That's the good practice. For example, in any DHCP server, you're going to want to preserve some IP addresses that's going to be used for servers, printers, or any other things that you would like to reserve. So what we're going to do is we're going to reserve the IP address. So if you want to make the IP address start from after the host 6, it's going to be 192.168.10.6. You're going to exclude an IP address. That's going to be 192.168.10.1. It's going to exclude it. Here, if we hit the question, oh, okay, let's exclude 192.168.10.1. Okay, the highest IP address is going to be 192.168.10. Let's make it start after 10. So the first IP address that's going to offer is going to be 11. So let's make it 10. If we hit the customer, we can just hit it. Okay. So in the 192.168.10.0 network, our first IP address that the DHCP server is going to offer will be 192.168.10.11. So okay, let's go ahead and put that. Okay, let's go ahead and create another pool, excluding address, IP DHCP excluding address for the VLAN 20. You guys did right. .20.1 to 168.20.10. Same goes for VLAN 20. Okay. IP DHCP excluding addresses 192.168.30.1 to 168.30.10. Good. Okay. After creating this, now we have created the range to be the range of IP addresses to be offered in our different 3 VLANs. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to create a pool for all DHCP at subnets. So let's go ahead and IP DHCP. We hit the question mark, there's pool. And we hit the question mark, there's going to be word or pool name. So we're going to name it server and VLAN 10. So we're just going to type V10. Okay. So we're going to type, okay, hit the question mark, there's going to be network. What network is it? It's going to be, okay, network. We're going to use 192.168.10.0. Remember that. Okay, when we hit the question mark, it's gonna ask us for the subnet. So that's 255.255.255.0 or /24 prefix. Okay, what else is there? We can set up a DNS server. So let's just use a Google DNS server 8.8.8.8. There's also a default router. That's going to be the default gateway that the DHCP server can provide for the host computers. So let's default router is going to be 192.168.10.1. Hit. That's it. Okay, now let's create another pool. IP DHCP pool server V20. That's gonna be for Vlan 20 for the sales department. Network. (192.168.20.0). Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. And we're going to use the DNS 8.8.8.8. And we're going to use the default router. It's going to be 192.168.20.1. The default router addresses, if you have noticed this, the sub interfaces that we have created under the gigabit interface 0/0 of the router. That's going to be default gateways for all the VLANs. Okay, that's it. And let's create another DHCP pool. Oh, we didn't name it. Okay. Server V30. That's gonna be for VLAN 30. Network 192.168.30.0. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Default router, you guessed it, 192.168.30.1. DNS, it's gonna be Google DNS 8.8.8.8. Exit. Okay, we same okay. Now let's go ahead and request the DHCP. Look, the IP configuration is for static. We're gonna need a DHCP. Hope it's working. Oh, here you go. Didn't I told you it was gonna start from 11? Yeah. It works perfect. Okay, let's go on PC Vlan 20. Static. It's gonna be 20.11. Here you go. Works perfect. Okay, 30.11. Perfect. Okay, now the other building here. Trunking bit with two switches. Let's see that work. Or tagging. Look at this, 10.12. It just continued giving after what's after 11. So it will. The last digit is 255, 254. 255 is going to be the broadcast accessor. So DHCP 20.12. Wow. Okay, let's configure for the HR department on the other building. It's gonna be it's gonna be 30.12. Here you go. Now let's ping from this side. This computer is gonna be what's the IP config. Look at the address 192.168.10.11, right? So, but I want to ping 192.168.20.12. It should work. Here you go. That's perfect. Okay, let's ping 30.12. Remember, we're pinging different computers in different VLANs and in different buildings or in different subnets. Look at this. Just using one router. Okay, so after this, what we're going to do is we're just going to save our configuration on the router. We can do WR. That's it. Configuration is saved. And we're going to do the same thing on the switches as well. Do WR. Or we can just write WR in privileged exec mode. That's it. I hope you liked watching this, and this will help you in setting up a DHCP router, and I would like to thank you for watching.